where we met with Saddam Hussein.
Many claim that the United States of America gave Saddam the green light to go towards Kuwait.
We wanted to be good friends. He had an objective here, and it wasn't a good one. It was an unusual situation, and for me, it was an unusual assignment, which is to be the only American. In fact, I think I was the only foreigner other than hotel staff who was not Kuwaiti living in the hotel.
The 2nd of August, 1990, you received a call.
The phone rang almost immediately, and it was the State Department that said, yes, this has happened. You need to come down immediately.
You came down and you were prepared to go to Taif.
We were all trying to find out exactly what was happening because we didn't know where the Emir was. We didn't know where the government was. We didn't have good on-the-ground intelligence about in fact, I took over this command center for 2 weeks. And then the president wanted to send Secretary of Defense Cheney to the region to discuss with GCC governments the deployment of forces. Would they be willing to have American troops deployed? And I flew with him. We started in Oman, we worked our way up through Bahrain, and we went to Saudi Arabia last, and he dropped me off in Jeddah. And that's when I went to Taif, where the government was. Quite a drive up from Jeddah. I kept wondering what was going to happen. I realized this was a moment in time, if you would say. I arrived, the car pulled into the roundabout in front of the hotel entrance, and all I could see was Kuwaitis in their white thobes everywhere.
The white dish dash, you call them thobe like Saudis.
Sorry. The dish dash, it was white dish dashes, you're right. And one young man came down the steps to the car as I was getting out. And that person was Sheikh Salim al-Sabah, who became a longtime friend from that moment. And he escorted me into the hotel. And I remember into the lobby, and I looked up because the lobby went all the way to the sky. I mean, and there were balconies on every floor, and every balcony was just swarmed with people, Kuwaitis, looking down at me. And I thought, oof. Okay. And then one of them came running up to me to say, oh, Mr. Ambassador, you've got to get the Iraqis out of the country because I'm hosting a conference, international conference in September, and I need to be there to get it ready. And I realized then that the perception was that liberation was going to occur maybe within weeks, when I knew it was going to take a lot longer. And that was my first challenge.
And you stayed there?
And I stayed there. We don't have any room in the hotel. Everything is full. And I said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, but well, no, we'll take care of you. So they put me in this room, and I went in the cupboard to hang up my clothes or something. And I noticed it was full of clothes. And so I went back upstairs and I said, I think there's somebody in the room already. And they laughed. It's Sheikh Sabah, the foreign minister's room, but he's traveling now. We had to put you somewhere for the night or two. We'll find another room. Don't worry about it. I said, oh, okay. That's fine with me.
In the same day, you've met also Sheikh Jabir.
I did. That evening, Sheikh Nasser Mohammed arranged for me to meet Sheikh Jabir in the evening, and I did.
Who were in the room?
It was just Sheikh Nasser Mohammed and myself and the Emir, just the three of us.
Sheikh Jabir.
Yes, Sheikh Jabir. One of the messages that I was asked by Secretary Baker, actually, to convey was that we needed the Emir to be the voice in the front of Kuwait in public, to rally the troops, rally Kuwaitis, and to make sure that they stood up to this invasion. And so I conveyed it in a gentle way, that the president is counting on you to be a partner, to be seen as a symbol of Kuwait, as you are. But I noticed that he was very depressed.
How?
He was bent over a little bit and quiet. At one point then, I had some papers in my hand and I set them down next to me and I said, Your Highness, I want to make this promise to you. we are going to Kuwait, and you're going back, and I'm going to be one step behind you. And when we get to Kuwait, there's where I'll present my credentials as the United States ambassador to Kuwait. And he looked up at that point, and he nodded, positive, and I said, thank you very much for this evening.
Since you were the only outsider in that hotel in Taif, and you were so close from the operation room, who would you name as the number one manager of the show, if I may say, the person that was leading the things into solving the issues, how to react to things while in that period?
Sheikh Saad. Sheikh Saad was in charge of everything. He was the one who made the ultimate decisions. He was the one, if we had difficulties on some issues, I would go to him, and he would then get the people together that needed to be together. Well, he was wanting to be reassured about the commitment to liberate Kuwait, for sure. That was the first thing out of his mouth. But he was clearly in charge. He was clearly motivated. He wanted me, he said, I will have you near me whenever you need to see me. All you have to do is come to the door. You don't need an appointment. I'm always available and open. And I said, thank you very much, sir. I won't abuse that. But in the end, that's the kind of relationship that developed over time. You know, he was a very kind and very gentle, very concerned, obviously. And we worked through lots of problems together. The other people that I worked with were the ministers. They had one conference room in which each minister had a chair with a little underneath table, a place to put books or something. And that was the Council of Ministers room. Some of the ministers had offices elsewhere, but it was a cluster. And it was Suleiman Matawa was Minister of Planning at the time. And he kind of took over as the major organizer of getting things going, of watching the agendas, getting the agendas, decisions carried out, and so forth and so on. It was really very helpful. And there was another development that I think I should mention at this time. When Sheikh Jabir came to the United States for the UN in late September, he then came down to Washington to see the President Bush. And I went back for that meeting. And at one point, it was a great meeting, but at one point the president said, Your Highness, what can I do for you? What is it that you need me to do for you? And Sheikh Jabir said, Mr. President, help me be ready to rebuild my country for my people. The president then said to me after he left, he said, that was the most touching thing that I've heard. He didn't ask me to recommit for liberation. He clearly had accepted my earlier commitment. He already was thinking about his people.